Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a topic that's been stirring up a lot of debate in the Dead by Daylight community: Springtrap's security system. Specifically, I want to talk about it from the survivor's perspective. Is it the useless, time wasting mechanic people claim to be, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Now, ever since Springtrap dropped, I've seen a lot of discussion, especially from survivors, that this new mechanic, the cameras and the security doors, actually make Springtrap worse to play against. They say it's a distraction, a waste of time, and that survivors who use it are just giving the killer free hooks. But I'm here to tell you, I think a lot of that criticism is missing the bigger picture, especially for my solo queue players out there. Let's tackle the biggest complaint first. Using the cameras is wasting your time. You should be doing gens instead. I hear this a lot, and while I am a big advocate for doing gens when you're not doing anything else, I think in this situation, I think it's important to have at least one person on cameras as much as possible. The way I think about it is kind of like playing against the singularity. Um, when you have to go out of your way to grab a EMP and then decide whether you're going to use it to do a gen or if you're going to use it to save your teammate from a difficult chase. Um, I think the smart thing to do is to grab the EMP, take it to where your teammate is, and clear any biopods off him in the middle of his chase, and essentially extending the chase for that player. Because if that player goes down, then you or somebody else has to go save him, and by that time, Singularity's in another chase, basically tying up three people. I kind of feel that way about the doors with Springtrap. I think the cameras work similarly. The benefit isn't always about immediate gen progress to me. It's more about the advantage that it plays towards the team. By knowing where Springtrap is, you can extend the chases. By spending 10, maybe 15 seconds on a door, you can extend a chase up to 30 seconds longer than it probably will have taken. You can also mitigate his undetectable status. Everybody complains that his undetectable is too long. 20 seconds is too long. With no repercussions, he can just refresh it as soon as he teleports again. But I think that's part of the reason why the cameras are so important because of that strength, and that plays into his kit. Um, Preventing any surprise attacks is kind of in the same vein. You don't want him sneaking up on somebody who's doing a gen, getting a free grab, basically, essentially giving him a free hook because they weren't paying attention. They didn't know where he was. These things here can be more devastating to your game than spending 10, 15 seconds on a camera. So technically, I don't feel that you're wasting your time by using the cameras. However, I do think that teleporting with the doors is a bigger waste of time. The risk reward is not worth it. He has cues that tell you which doors you're teleporting to or from. So you don't want to do that because it can end up getting you grabbed instantly, which you don't want. The idea is to make chases longer for Springtrap and not shorter. The biggest complaint I have about the doors, and I think it's a valid complaint, is how disorienting it is to actually use them. When you get on a door, sometimes the camera that you take control of isn't even the door you are standing at. It's probably going to be the number one door because the cameras typically go in a number order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't know which door is which most people probably don't, you can be very confused as to where you are. My tactic with it, of course, is to get on the cameras, do a spin. The cameras will tell you if there is spring traps on them. It'll give you an audio and visual cue telling you if you're looking at it. So I do a quick spin. If I get nothing, I go to the next camera, do a quick spin, go to the next camera, do a quick spin. If he's at the camera that I am at, if I get that sound cue and that visual cue on the camera I'm actually at, I won't mark him. I will leave that area. It's too risky. Just leave. Find another way. The also, if you see that he's in chase, I think it's important to mark the spring trap as much as possible to extend that chase as long as possible. Because even if you're not doing gens, the other two people hopefully are, and the fourth person's in chase, taking up as much time from Springtrap as possible. I think for solo queue, this is more important and more beneficial if you're not queuing with somebody. If you're in a Swift, obviously verbal callouts are going to be the best way to track them, and I would definitely recommend continuing to do that. Wall hacks definitely is a huge benefit, even in a Swift, but not necessarily required, especially if you've got a juicer on your team. Some people like to compare Springtrap's cameras to Xenomorph's turrets. I feel like this is a false comparison. With Xenomorph's turrets, I feel like they are the set it and forget it type of counter. With the Xenomorph turrets, you don't have to do anything other than grab them out of the box, take them a few feet, and then set them down. Somebody wants to use it, they can use it during their chase later. That's great. That is awesome and makes it so much nicer for the people that are looping a Xenomorph. We don't have that kind of power with Springtrap, and I think that's fine with his cameras, especially since it plays more into the Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay of using the cameras to monitor where the killer's at. It kind of fits the source a lot more for obvious reasons. That's kind of what I wanted to get on here and say is that I think we are not putting enough emphasis on people to actually use the cameras. And especially again in solo queue, it's more important because you want those people to extend the chases. You don't want your teammate to get grabbed off a gen because they're not paying attention or they don't know where he's at. That is the thing you're trying to prevent. It's not anything for yourself. You're not trying to find out where he is for your own benefit. You're more trying to find out where he is for the team's benefit. So then anybody who's in danger can get as much of a lead on him as possible. Don't dismiss the camera system right away. It does feel awkward, and I can admit that. But I think once you get used to it, it does make it a lot easier and weakens the killer enough to where even 4 solo queue survivors can escape fairly easily against him. It's not about being a time waster, it's about making smarter plays, extending chases, and ultimately getting those gens done. So next time you're against Springtrap, give those cameras a try, practice with them, learn the layouts, and see how much of a difference that information can make for you and your team. You might just surprise yourself. What do you think about Springtrap's security system? Have you found the success with the cameras, or do you still think they're a hindrance? Let me know in the comments below.